In this episode, we meet KV Sridhar, fondly known as Pops, who has turned brands into legends. So let's get right into it. Uh, you've been a great inspiration for both of us to join advertising, and I'm sure for many other people. We've grown up in a lot of your ads, and I think one of the inspirations for me to join advertising. And we thank you for this opportunity, join us today, and being part of Craft. This section is called Craft Spotlight, where we speak to individuals, talk about the craft, and dive deep into those details.
It's our small to endeavor to demystify the craft for everybody new who's entering the industry and understand go back to the basics.
Thank you first, and I must thank both of you. There can't be a better start to a day than talk about advertising and craft. We live for that. There can't be anything which can bring a smile to you and happiness to you if you can talk about what you love most. Thank you for gifting me this morning, and also thank you for beautiful ambience to really talk about craft. It is inspiring. See the most beautiful combination in the world, yellow and white. Correct. It's like morning breakfast. Having a boiled egg. So it's lovely. Beautiful settings and wonderful to talk about craft. We don't talk about craft, and then there are not many people who practice enough to master it. To really, start at times I wonder, now when I actually go and then speak in different art colleges and photography schools, one of the biggest fear the faculty and children and then parents have is whatever our children are learning, people can do it on Canva within no time. So what happens to my children? Correct. And the answer to that is when we started, when computers came in, and when we actually started work, suddenly when Windows came in, and when you can actually true type form, my secretaries knew difference between 6-point and 8-point. Correct. Between sans serif and serif.
Oh, lovely.
Because they were printing my letters on that. And so I was very glad that, how a normal secretary in early 90s, could identify this is 10-point, this is 12-point, this is 8-point. Should I make it 8-point? Should I make it 12-point? So when I used to hear from a secretary, my heart used to really fill with joy. It is something which we, very close to few people, that we could measure, Berthold book and letter set book, where we know the difference between one size of a font to another size of a font, a guarded secret. Suddenly it became an open secret. And then today, if you see the fonts and everything, people just use it, as you wish. You have got access to 100 fonts, 200 fonts, 1,000 fonts, unlimited fonts. You can change the sizes. You don't even need to know the point size. You just, scrub and then you get any point size which you want on a sidebar, on a slide bar. You can slide, and you don't have to know whether it is 19.37 or 19.5 or 19.8. Yeah, because that's a kind of world which we have come into. The world has become a clutter now. Correct. Everybody has got access to it, and then people use it, but there is no method to it.
True.
Absolutely. Correct. If you walk on the street, you see so many billboards. It's a visual clutter. Complete clutter. It is, when typography is vomiting itself. So somebody has to put them in order. So what trained craftsmen do is put the world to certain order. If the order is missing, then everything is. So there will always be a need. In a nation of 1.4 billion people, just tell me the second candidate for prime minister this year elections. We don't have. There's a vacant job there. So there will always be a demand for people who has ability, and that ability, craft gives that ability. That's the reason why um, what we earn today, and then the value which we can give to brands for somebody to respect us is because of our craft. And if you don't sharpen your pencil every day, you will not get a sharp line.
True, true. Absolutely. That's a beautiful. We keep talking about it, I'm saying that we need to keep, like you said, sharpening your pencil. You need to keep practicing your craft. All these new shiny tools are great. I mean, you have better tools, but you can't take away or focus away from the basics and fundamentals, right? I think the mediums have probably changed, but I think the fundamentals remain the same, right? I think attention to detail is as much important as it was earlier. And I think the fundamentals of also crafting a piece of communication, right? I think a lot of your advertising has been very visually striking, right?
I'm just talking about the craft and then the length with which you go before technology came in. For Modi Hoover, which is a vacuum cleaner. So the vacuum cleaner is so powerful, it is sucking the entire home into the cleaner. It is so powerful, don't put it, Hoover is all about, Hoover man is the guy who never has a serviceman, who never has a job. Correct? Nobody calls him. So that is the Hoover campaign across the world. But in India, Modi wanted it to be most powerful. So I wanted the entire drawing room with a bookshelf, sofas, everything, to be sucked into that. Into. So in famous studios, I had taken the largest floor, and then I had to take the floor for 6 days to really construct the set for a still picture. Huh? It was very expensive, to really do that.
Convince the client.
3 lakhs we have convinced that we spent on making one picture. In those days, equivalent to maybe 3 crores now to shoot one picture. Nobody will give for an image like that. Then we distorted everything we made with fiberglass, including paper to bookshelves to everything in a distorted way. Calculated everything because the experience which I had before, and then we created that campaign. So these are the kind of things where you get a emotional involvement into the work which you are doing, and that allows you to respect everything which you do. So that's the incredible part and then joy of craft. You want every detail because you are cheating the camera. If you see from some other angle, nothing. Through the camera, you need all that. Every day, my wife also used to come, and then she used to get bored and sit and then read book because she couldn't make a head or tail of what you are doing in that. So a lot of things, where craft plays a big role in making an impactful picture or a impactful visual. Whether visuals or storytelling or any of those, craft is such a important part of it. And then you don't, I've done, because I had committed to really make an impossible dream possible by making such a huge set, distorted set at famous studios. Every film director, art director, Guruji, all the best art directors, Nitin, to everyone used to come, every photographer used to come and then see what am I making there.
It was like this
Big sets, and then distorted set. It was like magic to them. What is this guy doing? All the feature film guys, everybody used to come and then see. So this Gandhi font, again, the insight and then the heart, which matters into everything which you do. When I read a newspaper article, I'm a Gandhi believer. because of my grandparents, who influenced me, because they were part of freedom struggle. And the stories which they used to narrate about Gandhi in my childhood had a deep impact. And even today also, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat even eggs because of Gandhi.
Yeah.
Such an important place Gandhi has in my life. When Gandhi's glasses
Yeah.
went on auction in New York City, Government of India made a statement saying that we don't have money to go in and buy that.
Oh.
There was an article in Times of India. And I saw, and it was $500,000, which is 4 crores. Not even, 3 crores or 3.5 crores. So I felt very bad. A nation which has got every currency note, Gandhi's image is there. I don't know how long Gandhi's image will still be there on currency notes, correct? But he's there, a father of the nation, and he owned nothing in his life. One dhoti, one stick, and pair of glasses. Nothing else that man has got. And then we don't have money to go and then buy that pair of glasses. And we are seeing the dream of fourth largest economy in the world, and then we don't have money. I felt very bad. Really, really very bad. Then I told my wife that we will go and then sell everything which we have. I want to go and then buy those glasses. Then suddenly, next day morning, there was a news that Vijay Mallya is buying. And then he bought, not buying, he bought that for 3.5 crores. Then I felt much worse than that. How can a liquor baron go and then buy Gandhi glasses with the liquor money? And then, 1,000 deaths for me. Then I consoled myself that Gandhi once said, you can break my bones, not my confidence. And then he also, one pair of old glasses which he gave to a British soldier, and then told him that you may have these glasses, but not my vision.
It's a beautiful.
Okay. Then suddenly I remember saying that why am I chasing Gandhi's glasses? I have to chase his vision. Let the baron have his glasses. But I want to keep the vision alive. How can I keep his vision alive for future generations? Then suddenly I said that why don't we create a true type font which people can use, and then Gandhi can be alive.
Yes.
And that's good. So I went to Kalba Devi, and then I bought as many metal framed Gandhi and John Lennon glasses as I could find, and opened them up, twisted, saw, everything, and then I made some scribbles, and then we had a beautiful designer. Design team in Leoben at that time, Payal Jutani was the girl. Now she is in New York working as a designer. And then I called her and then showed her my vision and scribbles and those spare parts, which I got in my bag. She said, "Fabulous, Pops, I want to do this." I said, "Of course, you have the patience to do it." And Payal and 2 young designers she has. So it was good fun. And then we started working on using and digitalizing all the components of glass. So the frame, the curves, the original glasses, doing all the research, getting every angle, everything, and then trying and then reconstructing the glass frames, and then individual parts, and on a graph paper we started marking alphabets using different parts of that, and then digitalize all that. So we took the National Institute of Research, some part of NIRCT, They were working on different language font
Right.
that point in time. No, I can't remember that. But we worked with them, and then we worked with a tech guy in Pune
Okay.
to really convert that into a true type, to be able to use and integrate with the keyboard.
Right.
So we were the first language we did was English. Somehow again, being a purist, Gandhian lover, then we said, let's give it a try in Hindi. So Hindi was a three-tier system, to really create the font. You need to create more than 105, 110 different characters, to really do that. Unlike English is much earlier, much easier. So we had a very difficult time in doing. So we took almost another 3 months to create the Hindi one.
Okay.
So we took a year, less than a year, to create the entire font. So the moment we had the English one and then Hindi one, then I said, let's do all Devanagari. So then we did Bengali, Gujarati, everything. Then I said Dravidian. It's more complex than Hindi. Because it run into 180 characters, in languages, because you have the basic body and then the matras and above matras and then 2 levels of below matras. Correct? It is around 5-tier structure, which you have to do. So it is because the components are more. Each component, each character needs to be designed. Without cheating, with using the glass, correct, the frame.
Right.
So it was very difficult to really do that. So we did all that 11 fonts, which we have 11 different language fonts we had created, and I didn't want a politician to inaugurate that. So presidential system, we have too much of respect for that.
Yeah.
So we got Vice President Ahmed Ansari and Gandhi's granddaughter, inaugurating the font at Azad Maidan.
Wow.
That is the historic place in Bombay, where Gandhi did that. The Gandhi Memorial at Azad. So we went, and then that was the most gratifying. I didn't stop there. I said, we have included a lot of Indian languages, and somehow, we have not done Urdu.
Cool.
So we went and then did. Urdu is much more tougher and complicated
Right.
than anything else. So we did Urdu because Gandhi's soul will only be at peace if I were to do both Hindi and Urdu. All Indian languages, and Urdu is part of Indian language. So it was the toughest thing to crack, but we did crack. There are more than 1 lakh downloads of the font. And then I've got Penguin to the Paris, the French film institutes. They were doing a documentary, and then they all asking for copyright and then permission. There are 3 books written that time on Mahatma Gandhi, and all 3 Penguin has used this font. But the vision was to really put that on every currency note. So that was the vision. Even I worked with, tried to reach out to Google and Times of India to really use the font. But a lot of, even today also, government agencies on Gandhi Jayanti, I will find somewhere someone using the font something. And on social media, you see a lot of posts which I used to get, people doing my portrait in Gandhi font and then sending it back to me from Turkey.
Wow.
Correct. So it was one of the most gratifying thing. We never entered in Cannes as an award, but Leo Burnett globally has presented that as a case in the seminar. There was standing ovation for 2.5 minutes. People were clapping for that. It's not anything to do with what I did. It is the vision of that man and then the respect he deserves. So that was the most passionate project, and I thank my design team, to really put my stupid sketches and my, broken pieces into a beautiful font. So that's my passion for typography right from the day I joined commercial art and advertising. Offline we were talking about speaking about uh, advertising art is a collective art. It's not an individual. If Gandhi font uh, has come out the way it has come out, it is 5 6 different people worked on that very hard to create the font. I used to reject, and then I used to tear up the sheets. I used to ask them to go back and then rework, because nobody is an expert in every language. So I had to actually go to everyone, Telugu and Kannada, both similar script, both I understand. Tamil I can speak, but I don't know the alphabets. So we had to go to the people. Bhasha Bharti again did a lot of thing, and Manohar Naik of Lingo. All these guys have helped in language font, and then the research which people did, and then helped us doing. It is not one person who can do that. While all the fame and people say pops and Gandhi font, but there is a dozen of people, who work behind me to make my dream come my life. So how can I say it's a one-man show? Right. Correct. There is nothing which is in advertising which is one-man show. It is all the crafts and all the people coming together to make a project. And then today also I pride myself not doing work of myself. I did very little work. There are a lot of other people who did. I am like a moon, and then they are stars, and then because they shine, I shine. And that is where the all the crafts must come together. For that you must respect each craft, and then respect those people and make them to do the best of their ability. Then you will have something which is extraordinary. So the craft is not one, and there's several. This interview, it's just that hard work gone into preparing, researching, and then somebody coming in and putting together, and your cinematographers, 2 camera setups, the venue, the settings, and then seeing that background is clean, foreground is clean, sound is fine. Tomorrow editing is fine, laying sound mixing on that. So there's so many crafts, so many people come together, and somebody just sees
Yeah.
and then forgets about it. Correct. But it is, when good people, all people come together, you will have a fantastic product at the end of the day.
While I was doing my research on you, it just took me down a very different path which I've not seen before in advertising. It also opened my eyes to a lot of efforts and the craftsmanship that you put in to build an industry. In fact, if you look at it, you have built a whole new genre of craft actually for all of us to follow, all of us to take forward. And I think we really respect him for that. Yes. We really thank you for that in a lot of things. And I think the entire process was like interesting, and being so humble and so cooperative with us for the entire thing. So I'm really thankful for that.
Thank you.
Representation of hundreds of people who worked with me.
No, and I'm sure whatever you said today is going to inspire, I think, everybody in sharpening their craft. And thank you again for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely having coffee and then talking about advertising and craft.
It's a morning well spent.